31 Fired on the First Day Stories, according to Reddit. Number 31. I had an employee who worked for a week. He went to a comedy club, ordered $60 worth of food and booze, and when he couldn't pay, he asked if he could charge it to the company he works for, which they declined. The manager of the comedy club called me the next day to talk it over. I told him to go pay it that day since it was payday and he didn't pay him. I fired him the next day. Well, there you have it. Wasn't the first day though. Number 30. I was a corporate field manager for a big boxing company store, and my job was to travel to new locations and help open new stores. This involved a lot of hiring, building, and stocking in a short amount of time. We're not in uniform when we're in the stocking phases, so it's common that no one knows who's who. There was a couple of girls that banded together and seemed to be splitting the work of one person while still managing to do it half as fast. I walked over there and tried to give them friendly guidance, and they didn't seem to respond positively. I came back an hour later, and they didn't progress very far. I told them that they needed to step up their game, and one basically became aggressive and responded,
"Or what? Who the fuck do you think you are talking to me like that? You ain't my boss."
She got right in my face like a World Star video and acted like she was gonna fight me. Apparently, they had forgotten that I was the one of the interviewers, although it was someone else who made the choice to hire them. I said, well, actually I am. They looked mortified as I asked them to follow me. I took them into my office with my VP, and together we wished them well. They begged to keep their jobs, and I had to explain that laziness is bad enough, but insubordination will not be tolerated. At which point they told me to fuck myself and left. I know all about that, considering John Jumbo, my subordinate, used to tell me to go fuck myself, to go die, to hope that I die. Oh, John Jumbo, I miss you. Number 29. Yeah, that's right. What? This was 30? This is 29. I didn't fire this guy personally, but I did one better. I arrested him. I'm a police officer in the UK, and I was forced to help on a recruitment event in our headquarters where applicants turned up, listened to a talk, and did a few exams. Almost all wore suits or shirts and ties, except for one. One was wearing a black polo shirt, black combat trousers, and tactical boots. Weird and a bad impression, but whatever. Whilst they do their exam, I went into the yard for a smoke. All the applicants had to park in a certain area, which was just by the smoking shelter. One car stood out. It looked just like our unmarked cars. Exactly like our unmarked cars. I was a little confused, so I had a closer look at it. It had radiator lights, and on the back seat was a police issue stab vest. I thought that it must be one of our cars, parked in the wrong place. Must be one of our cars. It happens. And after the exam, they left. I watched them leave, and lo and behold, Polo Shirt Man gets in the unmarked car. Immediately, I jump in a real unmarked and take off after him. I found him 2 streets away, putting the blue lights on and driving through a red light. I overtook him, put my lights on, and blocked him. He gets out waving a fake warrant card and telling me that he was en route to an emergency. Arrested for impersonating a police officer. He was also suspected of doing the same in about 3 other forces. Well, damn. Well, he didn't even make the job. He was just trying to apply and driving around in an unmarked police car. Like, what the hell? Number 28. He started chopping out lines on the dashboard 5 minutes after leaving the shop. When I asked him what the fuck he thought he was doing, he said, "Don't worry, I'll share." He's in the car, fucking that cocaine up, homie. He's in the car doing that cocaine. He just walked out the shop and he was like, well, you know what time it is. You know what time it is. Oh, Lord. 27. New firefighter in my city, had just finished 5 months at the academy. Graduated the night before, and his whole family is there. The mayor, half the city council, and a fire chief pins his badge, and then he is assigned to a station. The rookie is told to report to the police department the next morning for a tactical driver training, an obstacle course, and skid pad. Dude shows up the next morning at the police department an hour late, still drunk from all the celebrating from the night before. Not only was he fired, but arrested for driving under the influence. That's the end of his firefighting career. It didn't even begin. That's pretty sad. Yeah, I find it sad too. He was just celebrating. Oh boy. Well, you gotta be able to hold your liquor, nigga. 26, so I am a reporter, and our interns come in and shadow us from time to time. Shadow as in follow them around, for people who don't know what the term shadow would mean. Who am I clarifying that for? You like 14 years old watching this, you know?
What does shadow mean, Kyle?
You son of a bitch. This kid came in for his first shadowing with me, and we were headed to a nicer event, one which required we wear nice attire. He'd been asked by my editor not to wear jeans or shorts, but to dress business casual, slacks, and at least nice button-up shirt or polo. Well, he showed up late, and he showed up in jeans and flip-flops. I didn't even ask my editor. I sent him home before he could walk into the event with me. Later, I was honest with my editor about what happened, and the intern did not return for a second day. Oh, that poor intern. Was he paid, though? He didn't fire him, so whatever. Number 25. Worked at a record store. While giving the guy the tour, he mentions how we underbelly our LPS and lets us know he's just going to use his employee discounts to resell all the good stuff that comes in our eBay store. Wow. He lasted about an hour. What would you look at that? Number 24. So I'm not a manager or employer, but I do get copied on all of the termination notice emails for the retail locations our company has, for some reason. For terms on the first day, there's a bunch of expected didn't show up for training, got a different job, extremely late to training, etc. type shit. There was also a fist fight with the customer, drug use, violation of company policy, dude tried to steal merchandise, and arrested. Though for what I don't know, and there's probably some other great ones, but none that come to mind at the moment. Well, those are some people who just can't make the job. You know, I'm sure some people who, unfortunately, this isn't funny. I don't know why I say it like this. It's kind of more like a scoff of an exhale. Some people who die between being hired and making it to that first day. Unfortunate. Number 23. Not first day, but first week. So let me preface by saying this. I used to be an AGM of an IHOP. Assistant General Manager? And I hired an overnight server. Pretty standard overnight type. They're always odd balls. Why did I read it like that? They are always odd balls. They are always odd balls. Yeah. He put a space between odd balls. They are always odd balls. So my brain was like odd balls. Look, but this guy took the cake. I would make a habit of checking up on my overnight employees because obviously it's easy to sit around and do nothing when work could be getting done. Standard annoying ass manager shit, I know. So I am watching camera footage of his shifts after a week, and I keep seeing him sit down in the one booth. This booth had minimal camera coverage, and I could only see a little of him sitting there. I thought he was sleeping, but didn't have enough evidence to prove it, so I moved the camera over a little to capture the whole booth. His next shift, sure enough, he goes and sits in that booth, and then something awful happens. On camera, I have this grown man, like 35 years old, start to jack off on the clock in the dining room. Odd balls. You know what I'm talking about? I was 19 at the time, and that was the most awkward termination I ever had to deal with. I just rolled the camera footage in front of him and handed him a termination paper and said, "Please sign this. We will mail you your last check. Don't come back." He tried to file for unemployment due to wrongful termination. I had to send a video of a man clearly jerking off to my district manager, who I imagine sent it to a corporate so they could deal with it. Ain't that some shit, baby? Ain't that some shit? Number 23. I worked as a manager in an upscale seafood restaurant a few years ago. We had recently hired a few more wait staff to cope with the customer demand as summer was starting. Excited to train up new staff for the first time ever, 3 men turned up on time and got started with their buddy staff. Guy number 4 turned up over an hour late. Stunk of alcohol and body odor, and dark yellow pit stains on his apparently new white uniform shirt. I fired him within 10 minutes. He then proceeded to knock over chairs, pull tablecloths off tables, so security was called. First person I ever fired. I felt bad and went out for smoke before getting back into work. Another reason why I left the hospitality industry. Staff turnover is too high, too easy to burn out. Well, there's that. Number 22. My old manager, matron at a psychiatric secure hospital, told me of a guy who was employed as a healthcare assistant, working with people with a learning disability. Part of his role involved escorting patients into the community to help them with shopping. Okay. He took his first charge to a shopping center and proceeded to spend £250 on their debit card buying electronic goods for himself, which he then brought back to the hospital and asked for them to be stored in the staff room until the end of his shift. He left with the police. What a despicable human. Just to clarify for anybody who may have been half listening, I mean, you could just go back in the recording, but bottom line, basically some guy was supposed to accompany handicapped people or people with a learning disability, which is even, mentally handicapped people, to the store to get some shopping done for him, and he used their card to buy himself electronic shit. That's fucked up. That is fucked. What are the comments on this? He left with the police. After he's done with their debit cards, he'll be on his way to the fire department. After he's done with their debit cards, he'll be on his way to the fire department. What? He's just so damn convincing and handsome. I don't understand. Worked retail management on Black Friday, and we had a new guy, and his job was to greet customers. Literally, hi, welcome to blank. 2 older ladies walk in and say,
What the fuck is up?
I told him, your time working here. Wait, 2 older ladies walk in and he says, what the fuck is up? And then the guy says, I told him your time working here. I clocked him out remotely and told him to enjoy his family because he wasn't shopping with the $4 he made working that half hour. I told him your time working here. What the fuck does that mean? And then I said, enjoy his family because he wouldn't be shopping with the $4 he made working that half hour. Somebody says, I won't lie, that dude said on the first day what I wanted to say for 4 years. No, to say 4 years during retail. Okay, guys, Jesus Christ. I can't handle this list breaking my brain already. I thought we could just get through one without somebody writing some shit where it was just like, English is actually my 8th language? God damn. Number 21. When I managed a lumber warehouse a couple of years back, I kicked out a labor-ready temp guy for taking a long bathroom break than usual because he was shooting up heroin in there. Oh my God, the people in the heroin. I heard that's a great way to stay in shape, though. I'm a pretty fat guy. Need me some of that heroin. You got some of that heroin? Shoot that. I'm kidding. I do not condone the use of heroin. But to be honest, I don't know anything about it. I just know that you probably shouldn't do it. You know what I mean? Some drugs are pretty addictive, and maybe it's in your best interest to stay away from it. And unfortunately, until they legalize that weed so everybody can do some shit that, is nice and harmless, I guess people are just going to be bored and looking for shit to do. Going to be establishing them lines on the dashboard of your car after you just walked out of your work. People walking out talking about, what the fuck are you doing? Number 20. I manage a coffee shop, lunchy place. Okay. A young girl came in fresh out of the culinary school and had previous coffee shop experience. Wow. What could go wrong, right? The first day I had her shadow the other employees just to get the hang of the POS system and general flow of the store. Nope. Customers overwhelmed her, and she liked to hide in the back leaning on the ice machine. Fine, whatever. She said she loved baking earlier on, so I sent her to the kitchen to make some cookies. I'm super chill. I didn't even care what kind. As long as they were fucking awesome and delicious, she had creative control. She comes out sometime later admitting that she doesn't know how to make cookies and needs help. Did you say that she was fresh out of culinary school? And this bitch don't need to know how to make cookies and she need help? Now I'm getting bloody frustrated. As we move on into lunch rush, a wave of customers flood the front of the house and I was needed. I had 40 liters of soup in the back, needing a titch more row, and asked her to thicken it a tad before serving. Surely she could handle that. Soups and sauces being addressed in the first bloody week of culinary school she apparently attended. I attended the same program, by the way. Nope. She found a box of cornstarch and dumped the whole box in. Dry. Soup destroyed. Her shift ended shortly afterwards. Turns out I forgot to get her contact information at the beginning of the shift, so I had to send her a message on Facebook telling her not to bother even returning. Classy, I know, but she was just one huge bloody mess I couldn't even begin to fix. Police sirens. What's really going on? They're coming to get me again, aren't they? They're coming to get me. Oh no. Oh God, they're coming to get me. Open up there. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. For now. If you guys don't see me, you know what happened. Anyway, number 19, maybe it's 19. So maybe it's 18. Number 18. I'm not a manager, but I had a potential coworker who called in sick. I guess he didn't know the manager didn't have to work through the evening and bumped into him at the movies. My boss told us that he is fired the next day. Wow, he called in sick. Wow. But don't people have sick days to be able to use to do whatever they want in a way? Do you need to be sick to call in a sick day? I guess running into your boss at the movies is probably a bad situation, but I don't know. Work. Whew, I don't know. Work. Number 17. I manage a bookstore that had an auxiliary carrying. These are some fucking words right here, so let's try this again. I managed a bookstore that had an auxiliary calendar kiosk. An auxiliary calendar. I'm gonna say auxiliary, even though this seems to be auxiliary. That's just goddamn. So let's try this again. I manage a bookstore. Let's try it sexier. Kyle. I manage a bookstore that had an auxiliary. You can't just say auxiliary and it says auxiliary. Auxiliary in the night. This is really stupid. I apologize. I managed a bookstore that had an auxiliary calendar. I managed a bookstore that had an auxiliary calendar kiosk at the other end of the shopping center. Yeah, nailed it. Hired a woman to man it. I hired a woman to man it. Yeah. You should start over and do it all right. Okay. I manage a bookstore that had it's too crazy. All right. Okay. I managed a bookstore that had an auxiliary calendar kiosk at the other end of the shopping center. Hired a woman to man it, did her morning training, left her alone for a bit. Went back to check on her and found half the calendar stolen and her asleep behind the curtains we used to hide back stock. I've never been so angry. Well, when you hire in women to man things, you know you fucked up. Yes, I hired a woman to man something. How clever all of you are for making the exact joke. Excellent work. Who steals a calendar? Someone with time on their hands? Nope, someone completely desperate for a date. I don't care how desperate they are, stealing is a crime, and their days are numbered. Oh, welcome to the Kyle channel. Stupid. Fucking stupid. Stupid. I made the joke and I'm almost ashamed. I hired a woman to man it. Number 17. Not an employer or a manager, but a girl at my job showed up absolutely plastered on the first day of work, working at a machine shop. I'm sure you can imagine that this was especially a no-no. I still wonder why anyone who showed up drunk on their first day of work. Nerves, maybe? Well, yeah, a lot of people just need some shit to chill out, I guess. And cocaine is that for a lot of motherfuckers, and other people, you know, weed is the obvious choice, homie. You're not gonna be killing anybody like high on weed. As long as he's not too high, you know what I mean? A lot of people need to smoke just to calm down, you know what I'm talking about? Number 16. Caught him snorting some kind of pill. He probably could have gotten away with it if it wasn't for those meddling kids. I'm getting text messages from who? Nobody likes me. Nobody likes me. Oh, Snortskis, says a response. Yeah, good for that. Number 16. Know someone who works at a warehouse that stores and ships boxes of pharmaceuticals. There are some understandably pretty tight handling rules so nothing goes missing and everything is stored properly. Yeah, when you got them real drugs, y'all gotta calm down with all that shit. Who is texting me? Nigga, calm that shit down. One day, they had a guy start that asked if they should open the oxy to count them to make sure that there was as many in the bottle as it said there was. He asked multiple people this. He was gone shortly after. Well, yeah, there you go, bro. Hey, I'm just gonna open this box and count these pills just to make that they're still there, you know? Whoops, looks like the bottle only has a few too many. I'm just gonna stick them in my mouth so some kid doesn't find them and get hurt? Can't have that, man. Number 14. Or is it 15, man? I am not the guy. Number 15. Great. It's my first day of work and I arrived an hour early. So I'm just sitting in the parking lot reading this thread. That's so cute. Make sure you let us know how bad you fucked up. They haven't fired me yet. And somebody says keep redditing. Yeah, and then you look up and it's 3 hours later. Am I dying while reading this? Holy crap. Just make it through. My God. Man, what number are we really on? Sometimes I gotta wonder. 1, 2. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yay. 11. Not my team, but another team within the department we work closely with. They poached this girl from another company, which is to say that they stole some bitch who worked somewhere else. She must have been good. She moved to San Fran from New York. Turns out, the VP, my boss, who okayed the hire, was just trying to appease the other director who was bugging him incessantly for more resources. The VP knew there were going to be budget cuts and mass layoffs, but instead of manning up and saying no, he said, hire whomever you want, and went on vacation when the layoffs happened, which happened to be on the first day the girl started. She took the week before to move and get settled into San Francisco. She was literally in the office 2 hours before they laid her off. That sucks. Someone says I still work for this company, unfortunately. Fuck this place. It's what happens when a startup becomes successful and are managed by a bunch of inexperienced jackasses who hire outside jackasses. Nah, man, sometimes no matter what the company is, the people at the top are fucking lunatics. And it's the only way to keep in money, bro, is to be fucking terrible. So, number 10. I did a Tarzan swing on an overhead hoist remote cable going some 20 feet, and then the cable tore out. It only took maintenance 20 minutes to fix, but he was gone by then. That sounds pretty fun, imagining some guy do a Tarzan swing on some sort of hoist cable, and then it fucking breaking, and then maintenance going, now how the hell are we gonna fix this? Number 9. The job hours from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. Okay. The job hours were from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. Our new hire showed up about 10 minutes late on the first day. Normally 10 minutes late isn't that big of a deal to me, but it was his first day, and I had pulled 3 other staff members into our 8 a.m. meeting so we could discuss the training schedule with our new hire. So we are already in our meeting when the new guy walks in. He doesn't apologize for being late. He just sits down as I am going over the training schedule for the week. After a few minutes of listening to us discuss what he's going to do or going to be doing for the rest of the week, he raises his hand and says, "Can we reschedule the afternoon sessions planned for today or tomorrow? I have to leave at 11 today and 12:30 tomorrow." This was the first time I was hearing about these plans. I asked 3 staff supervisors to give me the opportunity to speak with the new guy alone for a few minutes. They leave the room. So I started talking to the guy about how he can't just change his schedule without running it by management first. As I am talking to the guy, he gets a text. He looks down at his phone and puts his hand up as if he were telling me, "I'll be with you right after I finish reading this text." As soon as he finished reading the text and looked back at me, I said, "This isn't going to work. Please make sure you take everything you brought with you and do not return. I'll have an HR email you your separation papers." He seemed pretty shocked and asked what he did wrong, so I told him. He tried to explain himself, but I told him that it's best if he finds somewhere else to work. What a dipshit. Somebody says, "Jesus Christ, was this an intern who didn't need the job or just an entitled asshole?" Probably both. Yeah. This guy's probably been handed everything in his life. Number 8, man. I work for a company that takes care of HR needs of other small companies in my area. New hires often come in to fill out paperwork. We had this guy who came in, filled out his name and social security number, and gave it to us. Then proceeded to steal the front desk guy's wallet and keys right in front of the very visible security cameras. Turns out the police knew the guy was a repeat offender. He lived right around the corner. Kleptomaniac or a complete idiot? A complete idiot. A kleptopidiot. That's what I would go with, a kleptopidiot. Or a kleptomidiot. Chlamydia, guys. Number 7. This is a long one, but I'm stopping at the edits, motherfucker. The most memorable firing I witnessed was this man who got hired as a VP of marketing. He thought the title gave him the right to be late on his first day for an important meeting with our board members, VP and CEO. Though irritating, he was given a pass since he was new and rewarded with a second chance to impress. This proved to be useless as he was later heard propositioning our new interns for sex in exchange to be in this imaginary marketing campaign that supposedly would come with endless perks and cash. The CEO personally escorted him out and kindly told him to go fuck himself. In the most PC way, of course. When you're propositioning them interns for sex, baby, you gotta find the ones that'll just do it anyway. Why you fucking around with these females? Or males. Number 6. IT position. Supposedly had a BA in computer science with 2 years experience in relevant technical positions. I didn't interview him. We very quickly discovered that his computer abilities were non-existent. Started asking questions until he broke down and said he lied on his resume because he wanted to make more money. His previous job was drywall installation. Oh. We gave him a list of software he needed available via a URL. He didn't know what to do with the URL or what a URL was. It's like Jen from the IT crowd. And then it quickly unraveled. It was about 3 hours because the first 2 were paperwork. Wow. Wow. Number 5. I'm a teacher, and I was on a committee to hire a new 5th grade teacher. I was showing her the ropes and monitoring her in class behavior. I watched this bonehead tell a student, I don't like you very much. Figure it out yourself. Oh wow. Oh wow. The next thing I showed her was the door. And this is the door. You know what I'm talking about? In the exit interview, I had on the way to the door, I demanded an explanation, and she said, of the student she didn't like, he was wearing designer jeans. His life is all peaches and cream. Taking from us little guys, I say, did he make an inappropriate comment to you about money? She says, no, but I know their kind. Too long didn't read. 30-year-old woman was classist against a 10-year-old with some designer jeans, baby. That 10-year-old got designer jeans. Born with designer jeans in his mouth. He's born with a designer jeans on his pants, on his feet. When the designer jeans are also on your pants, you know that you've got it made, man. Fetus pops out. Fetus is wearing pants, and then the pants are wearing designer jeans. Response reads, I hope that person never got a job working with impressionable children again. That's frustrating to read. Listen, all teachers are terrible. Don't confuse yourself. You know what the problem with teachers are? Is that they're people. We need to get people out of the equation when teaching, because the majority of them are terrible. If there were 10 teachers in the world, like 0.3 of them would be great people. And the odds of people running into these teachers that are good is fairly slim, because the teachers are people. That's where you fucked up. The teachers are people, And some of them have families, which means they're even more fucked up. It's hilarious to think that I get through these faster without stripes, but still, I've been doing pretty well today. This is probably what a list would be like if some other hack did it and he just stuck to the list and didn't say anything else. Number 4, right? My chef hired a guy who was less than a week out of prison for dealing drugs, that is. He was just going to wash dishes. Seemed like an okay guy. Just looking for some work because he had just done 5+ years. So day 1, he goes to the head chef and asks, hey man, you know anybody here who wants to buy some heroin? Out the door in 2 hours on his first job out of the joint. Damn. So just incompetent, just borderline incompetent. Number 3, I got to fire my co-manager's sister, who called 5 minutes before her first shift and said that she'd be there in an hour because she just sat down to dinner with friends. Nice. I'm loving this. Privileged. I love it. What do you mean you just sat down to dinner? Your first shift is in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I know, but we were out and decided to go out for dinner. So I'll still be there, just a little late.
An hour isn't a little late. Be here in 5 minutes or don't bother coming in at all.
But this is my sister. She gave me the job.
Yes, she did. See you in 5 or not at all.
But they're my sister.
I worked at a company once, says a response, where a guy fired for coming in late. Okay, he was fired. His excuse? I left the house at 8. I don't see what the problem is. The manager told him, we need people that can be here at 8, not leave the house at 8. Don't bother coming in tomorrow. How can people be that stupid, you ask yourself? Well, that's the world we live in, baby. Number 2. I worked at a popular teen college kid clothing store, and I wasn't the manager, but I trained new hires. This one girl shopped at the store a lot, and we were excited to hire her. She was let go because she was late and was caught trying on clothes instead of greeting, and apparently laughed when anyone asked for a size larger than a medium. Oh, that's rude. Especially seeing as the big titty girls probably can't get away with wearing mediums. God, I love big titty women. Her family showed up at the end of her shift and tried to buy $2,000 to $3,000 worth of clothes with her employee discount. And corporate policy sucks, so they got a good portion of it. Her mom tried to bring it all back years later, apparently worn and destroyed, and threw a fit saying that she should get full price because the girl had died. Oh my God. Guess who could all see sitting in her mom's car? Oh, she was fine, so I was right to feel crazy about it. That's ridiculous. What sort of sick bastard drives around with her dead daughter? You got the jokes. People making jokes on Reddit. I'm just tired, man. I'm just tired of people on Reddit with these sick.
What kind of sick motherfucker is driving around with their dead daughter?
Did she drive to the hospital to return her too? Come on, ma'am. Come on. Number one here, guys. He tried to buy weed off of a customer just because the customer looked like somebody who might have weed. He didn't. How do you look like somebody that may have weed? Do you look, I guess, like a Rastafarian? You look like Kyle and you have a voice like Kyle and you say, Jamaica fast, was me nearly dead with love. And you're just walking around like you lean back really far. You got weed on your shirt, and then in a caption on the shirt it says, I may have weed. Ask me about the weed I may have. That isn't your regular stupid. That's some next level shit. Florida man would like to have a word. I live in Florida. What's the big job? I mean, what's the big deal? Jeez, guys, God. Well, we made it through this video, and I'm sure it was relatively shorter than my normal videos, considering I didn't include stripes. I'm not on my own computer yet, but hopefully we'll be figuring that out soon. I'd like to thank Ruben and Regina for their generous contributions to me getting that new computer sooner. And I'd also like to thank Proper Gentleman and Mr. Nuding, aka Lexeus again, for just being generally sexy people, you know? We'll be sorting this shit out soon. I'll be back on my computer and I can fuck around on bookmarks again as usual. Those were Easter eggs that I really enjoyed for some of these things. The sooner the better. I'm probably gonna jump on PS4 right now and play a little bit of Journey. So if you have watched this relatively soon after it was uploaded, then I may still be on, because you know I try to make long streams now. I hope you're having a great day, and I hope things just work out the way that you want it to. Whatever you're anticipating, I hope it comes to pass, and whatever you're dreaming and hoping for, I hope it comes true. I love you, and I hope you feel loved, and I hope that you know, I can just live a life where the cops don't get me for another day. See you guys later.